situation where someone kind of, whether this is your family member, a friend, a co-worker, or maybe a therapist, criticizes you or laughs at you or ridicules you for something that's actually part of your condition, for part of your complex PTSD or your personality. For things like being, fidgety, or if you stutter and can't, if you freeze up when you can't talk, or you're not having enough eye contact, and that startle response, those things, it hurts. It is like someone stabs you when people criticize or laugh at you for those things, because they are kind of normal for us with complex PTSD, or if you have dissociative subtype of PTSD or developmental trauma. So there's I don't know about you, but for me this is like a stab, and then it's like my feet are scooped up from underneath, and I just go free fall into this black hole again, that dark space I spent most of my childhood in, where you really feel like, gee, I am fundamentally different to other human beings. I'm flawed, and there's all this hate and hurt there. So we don't want to fall down there. So I want to share some tips and some the way I think about it now to help me when those kind of situation happens, when someone criticizes me in that way. Because when we fall in that hole, it is so painful down there. We feel so alone, and that sense that I'm fundamentally different to other human beings. We tend to self-harm or have suicidal thoughts and do all these addictive behavior kind of stuff. So we really don't want to fall down into this hole. We really want to do something to help us stay present for ourselves. And one way I really do this now is really trying to get some distance for myself from that situation. Okay. In that moment, my brain just goes crazy. There's no rational thinking, but just pausing for myself, and if I can, as soon as I can, to hold myself, whether this is literally holding, whether I have my hands on my chest or hugging myself, or just can hold my own wrist or my fingers, to really being there for myself and promising myself that I will not abandon myself in this situation. Because I've been doing that all my life. Abandoning myself, falling in that hole, hating on myself, wishing I would be dead, and all these kind of things. And I don't want to go in that space again. I've been there so many times, okay? And I hear it from you guys. We don't want to do that. We don't want to abandon ourselves, to be there for ourselves. And I don't know whether you can be compassionate towards yourself or can bring some kindness to yourself yet. If you can't, can you just be there for you, maybe in a neutral way? Just being there, and realizing that other people just really don't get what it means to live with all those symptoms and struggles that we have. When you had childhood trauma, for me, I don't have a before and after to compare it to. So I don't know what it's like to live with a different brain that functions different to mine. Okay, so I don't know what it's like, but I can tell you what it's like to live with my brain. Okay, and that's what people often don't realize when they criticize. Whether they criticize you or sometimes well-meaning telling you you're doing so well, because they don't realize how hard we actually have to work every single day to cope and function on a day-to-day thing. So I don't know, do you dissociate? Okay. Because there's been times where I come home from the shops and I open the cupboard and I look in there, and you notice that I already been shopping. And those moments, I'm trying not to get too emotional here, in those moments, I don't get to the same kind of emotion. It's like you spooked out by myself when that happens, not realizing that I've already been shopping, and you're standing there thinking, was it today that I've already been shopping? Was it yesterday? And it's gone. When we dissociate, we compartmentalize everything. yes, there's that fragmented sense of self as well, but the compartmentalizing, that's really a struggle. People know that we do that with our trauma history. Okay, that we can't put things on a timeline when what happened. And that's true. There's all these gaps there. I don't care about the trauma history. I don't care if I can put my trauma history on a timeline. What I care about is the today, my day-to-day function, the gaps in today that I have. That's what's really difficult to live with when you can't remember that you've been shopping. Or I remember being at a birthday party, and my friend asked, she cooked something and it didn't turn out the way she wanted, and she asked me, oh, what do you think went wrong? What should I have done different? And I was like, I don't know. I can't cook. And some of my friends turned around and everyone laughed and said, what, you can't cook? You're a qualified chef. And in that moment, I laughed. But my mind internally was going crazy because was that a joke? Am I really a chef? When was I a chef? And I went home looking through my own place for evidence. Was I a chef? And, I've done a lot of work on it, and I know this now because I worked on my timelines and things. So, but a year before that birthday party, I quit chefing. I was a chef for 10 years, and in that moment I had no recollection because I compartmentalize everything in my life. So I only have access to certain stuff at any moment, and those kind of struggles people don't see. When even answering simple questions like, what have you been doing last week? And it's like, everything freezes up for me. I cannot answer that question. If you ask me what I've done for my projects, like I made it all the way to do a PhD. And I know a lot of you, I get so many emails, and I have clients who are studying at uni. So those parts there of us, we can do things, we can function, but we just can't integrate the whole thing, being that sense that it's all me in one moment, and that's really difficult and devastating at times. And when people criticize you, it hurts so much. But it's really important that in that moment that we can stay with ourselves, that we do not abandon ourselves, realize that they just really don't get it, and I don't get what their life is like either. But I don't need to understand that, but I need to be here for myself. And the way I like to think about it now is that there, in any of those moments, there's a lesson there for me. There's something there to learn, something there for me, an opportunity to grow. And I had a situation just very recently, and it was a huge one. And I didn't see an opportunity of growth in that situation for nearly a week. It was just pain. There was so much sadness, and it was really, really hurting that experience. And sometimes we can't see the lesson, or that we can't see there was something to learn. And in those moments, I try to tell myself, okay, this is an opportunity for me to just practice and be there for myself, to be my own best friend. That's all. It's an opportunity to be there for myself and be my own best friend. Okay? Because we're working so hard on every single day to keep our nervous system in check. Like I always say, that window of tolerance. We don't want to be hyper aroused and be in that fight, flight, freeze state, and we don't want to be hypo aroused. We don't want to dissociate and be numb. Okay, I don't know how other people stay within that window of tolerance, but for me that means that I have routines and practices in place throughout the day. Every few hours I have to do something to help myself to calm my nervous system and stay within that window of tolerance so I can function reasonably at an optimal level, so to speak. But I always say that for everything that I do, I have all these practices in place, but I also have to write everything down. I have notebooks for everything, like all my projects that I work on. So there's a notebook there, so I can go through, okay, this is what I done last time, and this is where we want to go. These are our goals, so I can read through that, so I always have a a written thing of what I'm meant to do, and to help myself get the picture again, get back into that zone. I did timelines as well, not for my trauma history because I don't care, but timeline for myself where I've written down all the things that I did, the skills that I learned, the traveling, the different jobs I had. I got bored so quickly with jobs. I had a different job or a different career every few years. So to write that down, and it took me many weeks. I had this big piece of paper on my desk where every time something popped up again, oh yeah, that's right, I used to play tennis, so I wrote that down. And this really helped me to have it all written down on that piece of paper, and I looked at it every day a few times to get that fuller picture of myself. This is all me. I did all these things. I was traveling, I was chefing, I was working in kindergarten, I was a kindergarten teacher, and all these different things that I've done in my life, and that's really helped me. And I think also has to say, sometimes I get really fed up with just how difficult everything is for myself, and how hard I actually have to I'm getting emotional now, and how hard I actually have to work for everything I get. And I had one of those moments where I was really struggling that this is so difficult and I have to have those timelines and things like that, and I threw it out. And I regretted that. You know, have you ever done something like that really impulsive? You just get so frustrated with how difficult life is for us and how hard we have to work for it, that I ended up throwing this out. So usually I don't regret things that I throw out, but this piece I did regret that I threw that out. But random, I wasn't planning on sharing that. But yeah, I do get fed up with myself at times, but I'm much better now at being kind and compassionate with myself and telling myself I'm not going to abandon myself. I'm going to be there for myself, and I'm going to be my best friend. I have my own back, and no matter what, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to be kind with myself, or at least I try my best, and trying to be a little bit kinder to myself today than I was yesterday.